So there's an interesting one about a guy who just abandoned his pregnant fiancée like 2 weeks before she's about to burst with the kid, after finding out that a few years ago when they got together that he was her backup plan. Like, she chose him when she was 29 years old before the big 3-0, that number all women hate, because he was the safest option. All that, not because she really was in love with him or thought he was anything great. He was just a backup plan. And he's like, oh, hell no, I'm out of here. And I've been going to go over here, guys, reminding you, relationship guys, that eventually the gals will settle for guys they wouldn't give the time of day to when they're younger, because they're a sure thing. They're always going to have attraction for the bad boys and the guys that give them the butterflies. I don't care what they say. I don't care about I've learned my lesson, I've grown up. No. And they will settle for the nice guy who gets the best, give them the best life. Title: I, a 39-year-old male, found out that I am the literal backup to my pregnant fiancée, and I walked out. She's begging me to come back. I'm not sure what to do. He says, we first met 6 years ago and in my then job, and we were colleagues back then. I split up with my ex 4 years ago roughly, and we started seeing each other casually 3 years ago. And she asked me if we could give it a go as a serious relationship just 2 years ago. So they started 3 years ago. She's 32 now, so she was 29 at the time. So she's ready. The big 3-0's coming up to find the stable guy. A lot has happened in the past 2 years. She had a preventive double mastectomy due to having the breast cancer gene. We both sold our respected houses, moved in together, got pregnant, and I proposed 6 months later. Smack! What do you mean you both got pregnant? I don't want to hear that political correct shit. Not over here. She got pregnant, not you, jackass. Are you carrying around a heavy-ass baby in your gut for 9 months? Are you having morning sickness and all that? No, you're not. So I don't want to hear this we're pregnant shit. God's sakes. She's been telling me in the past few months that she's so in love with me and she can't wait to start a family and even wants more kids with me. We only plan to have the one, but because she's so happy, we were even saying that she was thinking about having another kid straight after her first one is born, so we can start our family before she has a hysterectomy due to the gene. So she went on maternity last week, and we have 2 weeks to go before our child is born. My phone died a few days ago, so I asked her if I could use one of her old ones until my new one came in. She said, of course, and told me which one she said, and it should be empty, really. Important thing to note here is that she actually has 2 of the same make but different models by mistake. Make and models. So by mistake, I grabbed the wrong phone and logged in and said, oh, I thought it was blank. She said, without thinking, that she must be baby brain or so. So what I want to, and I can delete anything I don't need on the phone. So she isn't aware of what he's about to find out. After a short while, I start going through the phone and see that she has conversations with her bestie in there. And the last dates were just before we committed to each other. Basically, she was talking to her and literally weighing all her options up about having kids with who have kids with before it's too late. And she was going over her backups. And I saw their chat about me. Oh, that's real nice to hear that you're the backup, that she wasn't the first choice or even the second choice. Basically, the consensus was I was the shortest and oldest of her guys that she was seeing, but I had the best prospects. Most stable job, ding, ding, ding. Best personality, most common interest, funny, good in bed, and good looking, even if I'm not her usual type. That's all nice, but it really boils down to most stable job. He can provide. This is what happens. Have fun with the bad boys and the guys that give you the butterflies in the teens and 20s. If they haven't found that guy yet or convinced that bad boy to settle down, then have all the nice guys that still liked you and everything, and then try to pick one of them, the best prospect. Not that she's really into them, would give them the time of day, but the biological clock is ticking. No guy wants to hear this. And I might add, no girl wants to hear she was the backup choice either, I might add. So she said she was going to give it a go, and her friend encouraged her. Then I guess we started dating. The messages stopped when she started to go through her mastectomies and got a new phone. She also knew that this is the type of guy that would stand by her if something like this happened. Which, let's be honest, if you're a good boyfriend, you would stand by someone that you cared about going through these medical things. I just went like, what the fuck, babe, out loud, and she initially was clueless but realized what phone I had. She was mortified and she was spiraling, trying to explain herself, but not making much sense. So she went from English to Tuscan Raider in 2.2 seconds. Well, guess what? We don't generally have a Tuscan Raider to English dictionary. Can't understand the crying and that noise the Tuscan Raiders make. I literally told her to shut up, grabbed my stuff, and walked out the door. I booked into a B&B and have been staying here for a couple of days. She's been messaging me, sending me video messages, literally begging me to come home, crying so we can talk. I can't face it. Again, she wouldn't want to hear she was the last choice and only chosen because of this, and this. I've been feeling so effing humiliated and used. I've gone from the happiest I've been in years to feeling like my last couple of years is a bit of a lie. I keep going through the messages one by one and thinking of the way she's been in the past few months. On the other, telling me how much she's in love with me, how happy she is, and she wouldn't change the past couple of years for anything. And she's so much looking forward to starting a family with me. Saying things she has an actual crush on me. Even just sends me texts with a love heart on it. A pregnant woman's actually saying she has a crush on her boyfriend. I don't believe that. But then again, they're not married, so she has to still get him to put a ring on her finger. I really don't know what to do. Do I go back and talk or wait it out until she has the baby and then go back and discuss it then? I'm literally a mess, Reddit. He also says, as an update, you're right. I shouldn't just walk out and leave her while she's so vulnerable. I'm going to go home at least and be with her until the baby is here, and we'll see what happens there. I can't say I know how long term I will feel, but what will happen on that, I'm just happy, but we'll tackle that when it comes. So just because this is his child, having a child with her, does not mean he has to marry her. So upon hearing this, that it really just destroys everything for him in terms of his attraction towards her and all that. Okay, if indeed this is his kid, paternity test for God's sakes, but if it's his kid, okay. It's his child, his responsibility, but they can raise him separately. But does he really want to go the rest of his relationship knowing and seeing proof that literally was like, oh shit, I'm turning 30 soon. Okay, I got to pick one of these guys here that, I know darn well I wouldn't normally choose, but I got to have a guy with a job so I can get married and have kids because I'm turning 30. No one wants to hear that. So I don't blame this guy at all. And if he doesn't want anything to do with her, that's his business. But of course, everybody's going to be browbeating him. Family, friends, her friends. I guarantee her friends will be all over him. And typical nice guys are easily shamed and fall into that. So I hope he makes the right decision here. But the lesson is, guys, I said this before, women will reach a point that if they haven't found that guy to settle down with because they're terrified of turning 30 and not having any prospects or being married, they will pick and choose the nice guys that have been there. They call them orbiters, beta male orbiters, whatever you call them, nice guy orbiters. And they'll usually pick them. They're not in love with them because most gals, when they marry guys, are not in love with them. They're just, okay, the biological clock is ticking. I got to get a guy. It's a very harsh reality. And you always know a gal is in love with you. You can tell by how she looks at you, how she treats you, and most certainly treats you in the bedroom. Because I guarantee these guys, they find out in these stories about these things about they were chosen because they were the best option. In no way, shape, or form are they getting the type of treatment that the gals really wanted. And they often find out that their wives who chose them because they were the safe option. Back in the day in college, they were the wild things with all the bad boys and Chad and Tyrone, and they get the bare minimum. So this guy should really contemplate all this before making a serious commitment to her.